Today, we're at a big turning point in how we learn.
The release of new artificial intelligence software is raising questions in schools about its use and what's considered cheating.
New artificially intelligent chatbot that you can command to write pretty much any text.
A new survey found nearly half of teens say they will likely use AI to do their schoolwork this year.
ChatGPT is forcing educators to rethink the way they teach and the way they test students.
So here's a question. Is using ChatGPT for assignments the same as cheating? The typical answer to that is yes, because we didn't write the essay or did the calculations. It was generated using an AI tool. When calculators first came out, it did replace manual calculations, but it expanded the scope of mathematics. So instead of debating what's plagiarism, perhaps a future defining question can we use these tools to expand the scope of education? Whether we call it plagiarism or not, it's obvious that the students are using it. There are two pillars of academic learning: reading for acquiring information and writing for expression. While other methods of learning exist, these two are often the most emphasized. ChatGPT has had direct hits at academic writing, be it the university level academic papers, homework, essays, reports, or proposals. Any task that requires writing can have assistance from AI tools. So it's not a question of can it cover something, but rather how much can it cover. This year, ChatGPT passed the Wharton MBA exam, University of Minnesota's law school exam, and US medical licensure exam. And if you combine this tool with a smart user, you'll achieve much more. It's a tool that keeps on growing and expanding over time. Just like calculators expanded the scope of mathematics or tractors helped in revolutionizing agriculture, integrating AI tools has the potential of profoundly reshaping education. But I doubt if its potential is actually being achieved. Let's break some myths here. The reason why children go to school is not only education. In fact, it's one of several reasons. There are important things like ensuring a child is safe, it is well fed, the child is engaged, the child gets feedback for bad behavior, to make sure that the child has a routine, and also to make sure that the child is educated. Now, writing is important for education, and generative AI has intervened with traditional forms of writing. But schools are not just about education, and they have mechanisms to ensure that a child is under guidance of tutors who make sure that the child is learning alphabets, words, knows how to form sentences, and is learning independent writing. There's enough influence and control that the system has to track a child's progress and to help the child grow. But a university's priorities are very different. You could say that it is fundamentally knowledge. Universities are taking one of two stances. The first is a complete ban on AI for academic work. The second is to allow students to utilize AI with certain restrictions, like aiding research or organizing ideas, but not for completing assignments. Either of these options has some problems. On one hand, if there's a technology very easily accessible, students will use it, even if that requires them to pretend that they did not. On the other hand, for adjusting with AI tools, it requires a massive change in curriculum globally, especially in theory-dominated fields. And for that, there isn't a reasonable framework or human resource capabilities that exist worldwide. University-level degree has already started being questionable. Take the entirety of social sciences, for example. A large portion of it requires independent writing as sole assessment mechanism. Literature, sociology, or political science, the assignments in most curriculums in most universities are writing dependent. That can be largely covered or assisted in by using AI tools. The same applies for business courses, and since ChatGPT is good with calculations as well, a lot of things are covered, even in some of the top-tier courses. Now, there are some fields that include a lot of practical lab work, mostly in science, or fields that require physical creativity, like fashion design or architecture. They don't suffer heavy impact, but a substantial number of theory-dominated fields definitely do. That brings a question. If many things can be covered by AI, reducing a month-long workload to days, then is the 3 to 4 year long program still worth it? And if you're not allowed to use these tools, which is out there, and everyone after university is using it, then what are we supposed to do? To clarify, I'm not against universities. I think universities are one of the best places to be at. But we have to upgrade, and if we don't, we're opening this Pandora's box in education. The inequality between the market and what educational institutions provide is already large, and it keeps getting bigger. The AI-driven market is at a pace that's very hard to comprehend. but universities are not capable of adjusting with them globally and therefore taking an opposite lane. This is a very big problem because it means that universities are preparing students for things that computers can already do. And as the inequality grows, people's trust towards universities as a preparation platform starts to die. It also brings a problem in ranking students. Students who do their assignments themselves may get the same score or even worse as compared to those who use AI tools. This only brings a deceptive culture where students learn to lie about their work as a norm. And while some may be penalized, others might excel because of it. But I wouldn't say it's an individual fault when there's a system that promotes this. But then, if what we're learning is something that can be easily done by computers with much more efficiency, then why is the current academic priority still the biggest priority? Beyond our understanding of the content, what will be our contribution as university graduates? And if the market is also working with people trained to use AI tools, then would the market trust that universities are bringing the best future staffs for companies? There's already a traditional problem with university-level degrees. A lot of these programs are designed to help students be academics of those subjects in the future, and not exactly help them acquire skills that's necessary in the market. These problems will now amplify. Like I said before, the market is moving very fast and universities are not in the same track. Even the selection process for most universities requires descriptive application from students, including essays as one of the most important indicators for selection. Students work for months to produce the best possible essay of their life. And now that everyone can write an amazing essay, it's hard to tell if the current method is still a valid one. A lot of things are changing. People want to get into the market very fast and start making money. People have multiple sources of self-education. People's consumption of information is much more efficient than before. People can take a certificate course and land a job. And the ease of academic assignments with the help of AI tools has already made many things questionable. I think most people will continue going to universities. But I also think there will be a substantial number of people that will want to drop out just to get into the market very, very fast. It's true that criticizing education system is quite an easy task and offering meaningful solution is very, very hard, and I know that I'm guilty of that. But I think the possibility of change begins with acknowledgement that we have to incorporate AI tools into the system before it's too late. And that's a conversation that we need, and there are institutions that are doing so. In the future, I think specialization courses will gain much more popularity, especially those that promise placement or credible certification after the course. And maybe university-level extension programs will also get the limelight. Universities are in a very difficult position right now because it's very hard to incorporate AI tools into the curriculum on a large global scale. It requires massively skilled human resources to execute that change globally. And we're talking about a field that already has a scarcity of it. On the bright side, there are brilliant minds that have already started telling people how AI tools can be integrated into the system and how it's not harmful, but rather helpful for students.
Student privacy and data privacy is another risk. But what I'd say is the greatest risk of all is not changing, not evolving education, and just assuming that the education system from the 1800s is going to be equally relevant in the 2030s.
We can use Conmigo to give every student a guidance counselor, academic coach, career coach, life coach, which is exactly what you see right over here. Perhaps the most poetic use case is if AI, artificial intelligence, can be used to enhance HI, human intelligence, human potential, and human purpose.
Looking back, I think a university is an amazing place. You have your time, your freedom, your mission on what you want to grow at, something that matters deeply to you. I think a lot of what I've spoken today comes from this worry that universities are losing on some of those core essence. We must upgrade from a traditional system to one that utilizes technology to expand the entire horizon of education.